Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Angel Has Fallen. This is the third installment of what has become known as the Fallen Trilogy, which also consists of Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. This was directed by Vic Roman Warne and stars Gerard, Butler, Morgan Freeman and Danny Huston. This film really looks at Mike Banning once again, played by Gerard Butler. He's still a Secret Service agent, and now he's protecting Turnbull, played by Morgan Freeman's character, as the president. He's sort of battle-scarred by the experience he's had in previous years and in the previous films, that he's really sort of affected mentally and physically by what he's been through. And it's starting to take a toll on him and his body. And he's not the man he used to be. He's, going into his late 40s and he isn't as capable as he used to be. But he still wants to be out in the field, he still wants to be useful, and he still wants to support his family. And ultimately why he's protecting the president, there's an assassination attempt. And the only two survivors are Banning and Turnbull. And ultimately Turnbull ends up in a coma and Banning gets accused of being responsible for the attack, working with somebody else. He's ultimately broken free, and it's really a race against time of him trying to prove who was responsible for this and try and clear his name and trying to evade police so he isn't captured or killed. Look, I want to start by first saying that these films aren't John Wick or even Die Hard, even though the first one, Olympus Has Fallen, could have really been a Die Hard film. They're not as good as that, but they're a solid action series. I've enjoyed them all in different ways. I still think the first one is the best, but I've enjoyed each installment of this series. They're a fun and entertaining film. There's sort of a simple story, and it's ultimately Gerard Butler kicking ass, and that's what it's sort of about. And I like that though. I don't need to think too deeply about it. There isn't a little bit of heart in this film more than the others, in that it looks at the relationship between him and his wife and his daughter, and also there's a person who returns from his past, someone he hasn't seen in many years, his father, who's played by Nick Nolte. And it looks at their relationship and their strained relationship. They haven't seen each other in a number of years, and that his father left him and his mother when he was a child. And he's never really forgiven him, but he's always kept tabs on where his father is. And his father sort of lives up in the mountains and sort of lives off the grid and wants nothing to do with it. He was in Vietnam, but now he's battle scarred as well, like his son. And it's sort of how these two men connect. That's kind of interesting, and that brings a lot of heart to this particular story. It is digital heavy, unfortunately, but the effects aren't too bad. There is some really great action set pieces in it, especially the attack on the president when he's freed from the convoy of taking him to prison. And there's also a truck chase that's really impressive and interesting to watch. And it has a really great third act. And Piper Perabo has replaced Radha Mitchell playing his wife. I'm not quite sure why this happened. Maybe Radha didn't want to come back, but I think Piper's fantastic in it, and she's an actress I've really liked for a number of years, and she's solid here playing Banning's wife. All the performances are solid in this. Morgan Freeman's Morgan Freeman. Danny Huston does what Danny Huston does. Piper's really sort of great. Gerard Butler's good. He's sort of really crafted this character. He's a really believable character, and he's a character you can get behind. And I just like what Gerard's done with him, and I kind of like the character. And Jada Pinkett Smith appears in this film as an FBI agent on the trail of Banning, trying to prove, that he is responsible for the assassination attempt on the president. And she serves quite a bit of a purpose in the film, and it's good to see that. I like the sort of how each film's added different people and different actors, and this is sort of a great example of that. But the real standout here for me, and it was a surprise, was Nick Nolte's performance, playing Banning's father. He's so fantastic. It's the best role I think Nick Nolte's had in a number of years. He really suits the character. He's the right age. He's believable of being a sort of a mountain man, a man living off the grid and away from people, and you're sort of believable with that. And the relationship between him and Gerard Butler's Mike's character is fantastic to watch and adds a lot of heart and humour to the film that I really liked. But he really stole the film for me. I thought he was brilliant every scene he did. He had some emotional stuff. He had some comical stuff. I just think he's a really solid and interesting actor. And it's good to see him still working and doing something different. And yeah, I felt he was a real surprise in this film, but I really liked his performance, and it was just kind of a fun and entertaining sort of character he gets to play. I think this is a real fitting ending to the series. And like I said, it adds a bit more heart and emotional punch than the previous films. And you really feel for his character. And you sort of see the struggles he's going through, but he's still pushes on no matter what. He still keeps going no matter how much pain he's in, no matter what he's faced with, no matter what's going to happen to him. He keeps pushing and further until he accomplishes his goal, and I really like that. And this fight sequences in this between him and other characters is quite intimate and quite close up, and I really like that. The only criticisms I would have for this film is there's a particular fight sequence that takes place within in a car that's just not very well filmed, in that you can't see what's going on. There's a lot of movement, a lot of cuts, you don't really know what's happening, and I felt that you could have spent a bit more time showing this. It's not an important scene, I guess, within the movie, but I just wanted to see what was happening, and I think this is an example of how action movies don't really know how to use the camera to tell the story within a fight sequence and just sort of stick it somewhere, and it doesn't quite work. And the other thing that didn't quite work for me is the ending of the film. After the movie ends, the credits begin, and then there's sort of like a post-credit scene that really didn't contribute anything. It was kind of a humorous moment, but I just felt that this scene could have came before it, and it should have ended where it ended before the credits, and I guess that's the only criticism for it. But like I said, these aren't brilliant movies. They're entertaining and fun, and they're just movies you don't really have to think too much about. Final verdict. Look, if you're a fan of these films, you'll enjoy this one. If you like a good, solid, above average action film, you'll enjoy this film as well. I don't know if it's going to be for everyone. I don't know if it's going to cover a lot of people's taste, but I enjoyed my experience with it anyway. I'm going to give Angel Has Fallen 3.5 out of 5. Look, it's a fine film. It's not something I'd rush out and see again, but I did like the journey the characters went on and the conclusion to this particular story they started with, Olympus Has Fallen. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.